Now, these network applications can have two types of architectures. A network application can be based either on the client-server architecture or it can be based upon the peer-to-peer architecture. Now, first we discuss the client-server architecture. In this architecture, at one end you have the server. This server is always on, it is always connected to the internet, and it has a permanent IP address. And very often many servers are combined in a data center for higher capacity. And in the case of apps, for example, in the Gmail, you require very high capacity. So in that case, you have many servers that are combined into a data center and they are running that app so that we have a higher capacity and we have a higher performance for that app. Now, on the other end, you have the client. Now, client can be a mobile device or it can be a laptop or it can be any other device. And this client is not always connected to the internet. Rather, it is intermittently connected to the internet. But whenever this client connects to the internet, it is assigned a dynamic IP address. And when this client goes offline and comes back again in the internet, it is assigned another IP address. Now, this client communicates with this server at the application layer level using the protocols like SMTP, HTTP, FTP, etc. What are these protocols? We will come to it later on. But for example, in the case of Gmail, if this client or this mobile device wants to send an email to the server at the application layer level, SMTP or simple mail transfer protocol is used to send this email to the server. And for example, if this email is actually meant for this client, in this case, once the email reaches the server, this client can then retrieve this email. However, it is important to mention here that no two clients can communicate directly with one another in the client-server architecture. Rather, this communication always takes place through the server. And then you have the peer-to-peer architecture of the network applications. In the peer-to-peer architecture of a network application, there is no always on server. Rather, the end devices or the end systems, they communicate directly with one another. And these end devices are also called as peers. And these peers are not always connected to the internet. Rather, they connect intermittently to the internet, and each time they connect, they are assigned a new IP address. So as a result, the IP addresses of these devices or these peers keep on changing. And in order to communicate with one another directly, they need to keep track of IP addresses of one another. So the management of the IP addresses in such peer-to-peer application is complex. Now, these peers can directly request services with one another and they can provide services to one another. So when new peers join the network, the demand for a service increases, but at the same time, the capacity or the ability to provide that service also increases. So peer-to-peer architecture is a self-scaling architecture. And one of the most popular examples of the peer-to-peer architecture is the BitTorrent. BitTorrent is a popular peer-to-peer architecture or peer-to-peer application for file sharing, where different peers can share files with one another directly.